I can't lie to you, bro. I wasn't like super excited about basketball season. I mean, the Brewers were kind of inspirational for like half a second, but the Brewers, if you're paying attention, we just didn't have like a lot of like power hitters, and so against the Dodgers, who had a great defense, we just couldn't score, and we couldn't stop their home run game. And it happens. Sometimes you peak at the right time, sometimes you don't. So yeah. And to be honest with you, I was always a Packers fan, at least like since being a teenager. I was a Packers fan. I feel like I fell off with the NFL for a little while, and then like I don't follow it as much. I don't have the same connection. But basketball, me and basketball are we locked in. We're very simpatico. It's just something that ever since I kind of found a love for the game of basketball, I kind of just have always. I won't say I'm not like the most obsessive person, but like I'll be in the Reddit, subreddits and listen to all the different basketball podcasts. But yeah, no. So the whole basketball niche, basketball, everything has just been something real cool to me my whole life. Or at least since I was a teenager and the Bucks got good in the Giannis era. I mean, shout out to Michael Redd, Brandon Jennings era, the, Big Dog, Ray Allen era. I mean, shit, Tobias Harris, JJ Redick, all the motherfuckers who was on the team, and Richard Jefferson. So we've had some fun characters, but it wasn't until Giannis came and Chris developed and we thought we had Jabari and Greg Monroe and those types of guys. But the NBA fucking came the fuck back on some crazy shit, bro. Like, I'm looking at my notes and I'm just like, yo, like, the first game didn't have to be such a fucking banger, bro. Yo, Sengun had 39 points. Let me see it. 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Shea, the fucking reigning MVP and champion, had 35 after starting the first half with 5 points. Chet Holmgren had 28 points before he fouled out. And it was a really interesting matchup. And for me, it kind of felt like those Warriors, Rockets, Thunder kind of matchups of like my teenage years, like when I was like Steph Curry, Clippers too, and that when I was a teenager, it was like the Clippers, the Thunder, the Grizzlies were in a mix. They weren't like contenders, but it wasn't like my senior year was like when the Warriors started getting real good, like, and then by 2016 they were like this dynasty. So, but you had a lot of different teams that was in the mix back then, but this just felt like a powerhouse rivalry in the making. Obviously, Kevin Durant spending like 9 years of his career there, or was it 9 or 11? But spending a bulk of his career with OKC, and just like the absolute lack of love that he has for the city, and the lack of love that the city has for him is always makes it interesting, because Kevin Durant is such a heel. He likes talking shit. He likes being the villain. He likes saying fuck you to the fans in like nonchalant ways, and I love it. Honestly, I used to think it was annoying. But I think as Kevin Durant has gotten older, he's just been like, hey, man, like, I'm just a shit talker. This is what I like to do. And I've just learned to respect and accept KD for who he is, right? He had a pretty solid game. I think he had, 23 points and 9 rebounds. And, he fouled out, and that kind of fucked the Thunder, because he fouled out, and he fouled on a jump shot against Shea, who might be the best basketball player in the world. I know people hate the foul baiting. I know people don't like the free throw shit, but I'm just saying, like, seeing Shea get busy, hitting clutch shots in the mid range, kind of on this Harden shit. That's what's kind of funny about it. Like, cause like obviously James Harden and KD both played for the Thunder, came up on the Thunder, were part of that, what we thought was going to be a dynasty with Russell Westbrook and Serge Ibaka. And people like Jeremy Grant came through. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of different players who we thought put together. Steven Adams, who's now on the Rockets. They had a lot of different players who we thought would coalesce into a championship, and it never did. And so seeing Shea kind of hitting these shots over KD, who is now a Rocket, crazy enough. It was interesting to see. And I just think, one thing I really liked from Shea in this game was his playmaking. Was as I wrote some notes as I think, are they here? Yeah. I wrote some notes, and I was like, without Dub early on, it seemed kind of like and I think there was jitters, the emotions of the playoffs, of KD being back, this new, I wouldn't call the Rockets a super team, but like they got like super role players like Jabari Smith. Thompson is trying to transition from young star potential prospect into a full star. You have Reed Sheppard, who's been highly touted as a shooter, who didn't have a great game. We'll get more into the Rockets in a second. And you have, just a lot of solid contributors on that team. And and of course Sengun. I'm talking more about what their flaws seem to be early on. But yeah, so early on in the game, the Thunder weren't playing the best. They seemed kind of rusty to start. They seemed kind of jitters. Chet started off really well, started off really hot. I like what I was seeing from him. Dort had some really good finishes at the rim. And then, of course, AJ Mitchell, like, never even heard of dude. Like, just at half had 12 points off of a 4-point play buzzer beater. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Thunder are just fucking unfair. Like, they're just unfair. And it's cool. I get it. Like, I'm a Bucks fan. So, you know, like, we ain't really having the nicest of time. But the thing that was in my head that I was thinking about is depth over everything, right? Like, and with a team like the Thunder, the reason why they're hard to beat, although I still like the Nuggets against them, and I really do like the Rockets if they put some of these pieces together against them, is that they have so many people who know how to step into a role. You know, Casey Wallace starting the game, was played solid. You know, Chet was playing well. Dort, you know, knew when to attack the basket, knew when to, you know, be aggressive. And I think they kind of did what they did best, even though it was like a nail biting game. And that's the thing, like there were a lot of different kind of injuries and people fouling out, and so it really came down to last second execution. And that's why I think that this is a really fun matchup. Like, I really want, I'm saying this is my early contenders for the Western Conference Finals, like, that I want to see, right? Thunder versus Rockets seems like it'll be a great 7 games. There's a lot of animosity already forming, and it's just another young team with an old dog with some of the young guys who are just like in their prime and getting ready to take over the league. And so I think that's just a compelling storyline to look out for in the season. On the Thunder side of things, you know, obviously the other person who I wanted to highlight kind of jumped on all around here, but was Alperen Sengun might be a top 10 player. And like, yeah, it's obviously good to have a great game, but he just kind of seemed like he was ready to play. And one thing I will say is I do want to see this full matchup against a full strength Rockets team, although the Rockets did lose Alperen Thompson towards like the third or fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter. You know, I really like what I saw from Sengun. It seemed like Eurobasket really shaped his confidence and his playmaking. I hadn't watched a whole lot of Sengun, but I knew he was a good passer and facilitating hub, mini Jokic. But I think the key to I know that the Rockets are trying to develop Amen as a primary point guard facilitator, and I think, you know, he probably has more of that in him than I've seen so far. I don't watch a whole lot of Rockets. I'm gonna watch a lot more this year, obviously. I think what I would like to see and this is gonna be a big ask on the other person in this tandem, is what they were doing and just having Sengun be that like passing facilitating hub. And I think Reed Sheppard playing the Jamal Murray role, right? Just that secondary scoring ball handler. I think Jamal Murray at his prime was a little bit more athletic than Reed Sheppard, although I could be wrong. I gotta kind of rewatch the game. Jamal Murray is a much better decision maker. It has a lot better chemistry, but Reed Sheppard is still very young. I think he's in his second or third year, and he's a top pick. Sengun is still relatively young. So I think you have like Kevin Durant, one of the greatest forwards of all time, who was making a lot of dope kind of side out passes and just reads to Sengun, to other cutters on the floor. I know that people are going to poo-poo on him for not being more clutch, but I really like seeing more of that secondary facilitation that KD's really good at. He's not like a lead playmaker. He's not going to set people up for shots and just dictate where the offense is going. He's going to go get a bucket. But I like KD in his later years being more of that like supercharged second option to Sengun and Alperen Thompson. I know obviously it's KD. Obviously he's capable of putting up 30 points every night. But I think KD has a great opportunity to get the flowers that he hasn't really gotten in his career, and being able to say like, yo, I can get these boys 40 if I really want to, but I'm gonna be that guy who's the hub. I'm gonna be that guy who's developing confidence in my young guys so that they can carry us, so that all I need to do is, hey, if I need to give y'all 25 tonight, I can give y'all 25 tonight. I don't need to be trying to outscore the whole team. And that's what's really exciting about this Rockets team, is that they have so much talent offensively and defensively. Now, the problem that they have, and I don't think Cam Whitmore being there would solve this problem, but I think it would help when you lose an Alperen Thompson early, right? And I mean, like, you know, he seemed like he was okay, and it seemed like they were being precautionary, but being precautionary and not playing the game isn't like a great sign, right? It doesn't necessarily bode well for your rotation. So by losing Fred VanVleet early on in the offseason due to that ACL, and Reed Sheppard being kind of raw, the Rockets' big weakness is guard play. And I think if Reed Sheppard can grow and get more confident, if Amen is healthy and can get more confident, and with Sengun, they have enough, and KD to an extent. Jabari, he's not a facilitator, but he can get his own shot. They have enough playmaking, but they just don't have a lot of guard play. Like, they kind of have a embarrassment of riches at the forward. you know, because they still even have like guys, defensive guys who are solid like Dorian Finney-Smith, but who are injured right now. But I think that is their kryptonite at the moment, is other than just kind of learning how to play off each other a little bit better. Like KD fit pretty well, but they were kind of disorganized offensively throughout the night. And so I can see that becoming more of an issue as time goes on if they don't address that. So amazing game. SGA had some great moments. Definitely was exciting to see him come back into form towards the third and fourth quarter and, you know, kind of take over in overtime as well. You know, he's putting up a lot of shots. Didn't do great from the three, but, you know, definitely gonna be the team to beat. And it's not shaky, you know, as long as they stay healthy and their main pieces are there. You know, I think the Thunder are gonna be a very tough out in the Western Conference Finals at minimum. You know, that their minimum is losing in 7 games at the Western Conference Finals. Like, you know, that's like to a Jokic or to the Rockets, or maybe I can't see the Timberwolves beating them. I can't really see maybe the Warriors, and that's a great segue actually. The Warriors, they have a formula that really works. I'm kind of jealous of the fact that they get to maximize another like 2-year window with Steph. I didn't watch this game as closely, and some of the people, the jokes that people were making were like, yo, like all that shit that Luka went through in Dallas to actually get a good team just to end up back on the Mavericks of 2022. That's life. Life's a bitch and then you die. But, you know, I would love to make 60 or 50 or 40 million or however much he's making this year. So, you know, I think he'll get over it. But no, I want to, you know, I'm going to try to watch this game somewhere else. I'm going to try to figure out where I can watch previous games. But I really like what I saw from Golden State, one of the unctions. Shout out to all my unks out there. Gang, gang. I'm 27, but apparently that means I'm unk. I'm be 28 in like 6 weeks, so I kind of am unk. But no, in all seriousness, I just think that like the Warriors found something really cool with Jimmy that they've been missing, and bro went 16 for 16, and like that aggressive, attacking, bruising type of style of player is something that they've never really had before. And I think that's dope. But also what I think is nice, what we saw early on was Kuminga kind of buying into his role, right? You know, he got paid. He might want to have a different role somewhere else, but he has money, and so now he can focus on basketball. He might not have gotten the full amount that he wanted or expected, but I think he's on a solid deal. I can't remember it. Let me look it up. Let me look this up. Jonathan, I spelled that wrong. Contract. Let's see. Yeah, 48.5 million. So he's making about 24.25 million per year. Yeah, that's solid, bro. You can do a lot with that amount of money, and he's still very young. What is he? He's 23 years old. So, and like just turned 23 earlier this October. So he has a great career ahead of him if he continues to learn how to be kind of that do-it-all point forward that I think Steve Kerr would want him to be if he's going to get more minutes on the team. And he did a great job. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 13-point third quarter that fueled a 19-4 run to open up the second half. He's putting the work in, and I think that's good. I'm a fan of people being successful. I'm not necessarily a fan of Jonathan Kuminga at this stage. I think he has a lot to prove in terms of how he goes into the future for the Warriors, but I think they made, I love Al Horford on this team. He's no longer in the East, so he's no longer a terror to me. And Al Horford just always had a great game, and so the fact that he's still able to play in a system that is fast-paced, but also got older players, Draymond doing Draymond things. But yeah, like Jimmy Butler kind of just being able to attack, pass that he made to fucking Gary Payton Jr. Crazy as hell going into defense. And just I have a disdain for Jimmy for how he's treated the Bucks over the past 5 years or so. But I do feel like Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite players in the league in terms of just how he really gets into the defense, teeth of the defense. He forces contact. He makes smart reads. He bullies people. You know what I'm saying? I like that style of basketball. And I like what he had to say about Kuminga, that he feels like it's his responsibility to help Kuminga develop, because I think Draymond, Butler, Steph, that's just a great, if Kuminga can accept that and absorb that information, that's a great nucleus of different types of players who affect the game in extremely different but complementary ways. So shout out to the Warriors for getting that third star. They're saying his emergence as a legitimate third star. Like, let's relax. Like, we don't know if he's a star yet. I'm looking at my notes. But yeah, so that was fun. The Lakers, they're not as interested to dissect. I mean, Luka had 43 points. Also, shout out Buddy Hield, 17 points, 5 threes, and like they kept it in there. Like Austin Reeves how much did Austin Reeves score? They didn't tell me. Oh, 26 points, 9 assists. Like Aiden didn't really have much of a game that was worth talking about. 10 points. So we'll see if Aiden can start to get up for games, or if he'll kind of show what he showed in a lot of his time in the Suns, and especially in Portland, that his head's not in it. Yeah, I think yeah, like the Lakers are fine. I think they'll probably win some games without LeBron, and then we'll see when LeBron gets back, like how they gel, how they mesh. He's getting older. He's no longer the focus of the team, and I think LeBron is probably like a year or two away from retiring. We'll see how long he wants to play. He's already 40, going on 41. You know, like that's a long time to play in the NBA, even if you like doing it. And he's been talking a lot of shit, so you know, like maybe he's just kind of like getting close to over it. Marcus Smart was somewhat underwhelming. They didn't do great from the free throw line. You know, just I mean, it was fine. It was like a decent game, but definitely not the first game at all. So, you know, like shout out to Luka, shout out to the Lakers, I guess. Shout out to Austin Reeves, 26 and 9, like you said. But yeah, they need a little more. They need probably like one more. They need like 2 more wings, and they need a real big. That Mark Williams trade, yeah, is always going to bite them in the ass. But yeah, you know, maybe Connect can be something this year for them, but they're kind of underwhelming. So yeah, just a couple more things. Like it'll be interesting to see like how the Rockets kind of form as a team this year. But I think they really need like some solid secondary playmaking, or somebody who can organize the offense. I saw somebody say Tyus Jones, but I think they need like a guard. I don't really know who that. Somebody who I like for this team that I don't think they're gonna get, but who I like, DeJounte Murray. He would have been good. He'd be good, but I don't know who you trade for him. Like maybe you give them Tari Eason or something. You know, get them some wing defense. You know, because they still have CJ McCollum. No, they don't have CJ. The Wizards have CJ McCollum, but yeah, CJ McCollum would be a good piece for this team. So if they decide to just sell and, you know, try to tank for AJ, or, you know, one of the Boozers or whoever, you know, gets drafted this year, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. But I like their team, and I really want to see the Amen and SGA matchup, because they were given. That's one thing I didn't talk about. They were giving them fits, bro. Like a lot of doubles, a lot of zone defense, and just really trying to make Shea uncomfortable and force him to be a playmaker. So we'll see about that. You know, let's see some other things, just some quick hitters. Cleveland has 650 plus 650 odds as of today to win the Eastern Conference. New York is 11 plus 1100 odds as a favorites. You know, Cavs won 64 last year, but just kind of broke down towards the end of the year, or towards the playoffs, kind of broke down in the playoffs. So we'll see. Like, they're not a bad team. The Knicks have Mike Brown, who, you know, who was solid in his first couple years with the Kings. Kind of lost the locker room, but has the respect of a lot of NBA players, and, you know, has gotten to the finals with LeBron, with the Warriors. So we'll see about them. The Western Conference is insane. The Clippers, you know, it's the unction, but they got a lot of competent players that maybe somehow they'll all be healthy all at once. Fingers crossed. Minnesota, still pretty solid team. Didn't really make any moves, but, you know, Jaden McDaniels can take a leap. They still have Rudy Gobert, who was pretty solid in Eurobasket, or did he play Eurobasket this year? I don't know if he did. I lied, but he was solid last year. I don't know. Oh, also Rob Dillingham could have a breakout year this season. So, you know, we'll see what happens with them. Yeah. Oh, last thing. Yeah, I liked NBC. I liked watching that on NBC. It was cool. It was exciting. Maybe it's because it was a new year. You know, I have a fake beef with Common the rapper, and so Amazon Prime has a fire ass theme, and it sounded really good. And so I found out Common orchestrated it. So my fake beef, I was like, fuck, I hate this nigga. But no, in all seriousness, that was fire. But no, I like you know, what I saw from NBC. Still don't like Reggie Miller a whole lot, but he's, you know, it's weird having him on there, but it was cool. The Michael Jordan stuff was better than I thought. Like I was ready to hate on the Michael Jordan like segment. I don't know. I kind of at least hearing something from him at this stage of his life, like, and just kind of like reaffirming, like, yeah, bro, I'd hoop if I could. I just don't want to tear my Achilles. I thought that was funny, but yeah, no, I like NBC having the rights to the NBA. I'm reading up on this, so it says apparently the NBA Cup knockout rounds will entirely be on Prime Video. They get All-Star Weekend. Prime gets to play in games. Christmas Day's on ABC and ESPN. And the NBA Finals are going to be on ABC for all 11 years. So it's really interesting. Like $76 billion. Oh, they did like cap smoothing this time around so that you didn't have to pay fucking, I don't even know who you'd pay. You didn't have to pay Dylan Brooks like $58 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? Either way. Okay, so yeah, but I think definitely the Thunder have a strong chance to repeat this year. There are a lot of great teams in the West. The East is less interesting. I'm gonna do a Bucks breakdown because our opener is today. So, yeah, if you want to tell me more about your thoughts on the early opening of the season, comment below. You can like, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching. Love.